Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and here with me today I have another one of these diamonds in the rough. His name is Janathian Turner. He's a defensive lineman out of Gardner, Webb. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too. Glad to be here.
So, again, small school defensive lineman, but I know I've watched at least one of your games. You do very well on the defensive line, and really Gardner Webb in and of itself is really putting out some good quality talent. But before we talk about more, let's get some of your background. Tell me first where you're from, and walk me through your journey just a little bit.
Um, Jan- like I said, Janathian Turner, um, Atlanta, Georgia native, DeKalb County, went to Towers High. I played track or ran track, through shot put, through disc, did a couple big man relays to show my athletic ability. Mostly played O line from 9th and 10th grade, but I knew I was more athletic than that, and my coaches also saw it. So then I went to D line 11th and 12th grade year, to where I just blossomed and just became a great defensive tackle. Um, Playing those 2 years, being at Towers, a low school in DeKalb County, gave me my opportunity to play for Gardner Webb, which I'm grateful about.
Cool. So, like you said, Georgia native. If you can't tell, he's got an Atlanta Braves thing in the back. So he's obviously from the fan of the Atlanta area. So Nate, like you had mentioned, you did a couple other sports during your days when you were younger. But why football, man? Why do you love this game so much?
Man, really, it all started around 8th grade when I was just growing into being a big kid, and my mom was like, I should get active because I like to play video games. So instead of sitting on the couch, my mom just really just threw me at a sport that fits my physique, and it just kind of stuck with me. And then I became just a huge fan.
Gotcha. So moms just kick you out of the house and said, "Go do something." Which, hey, you were able to really take this football thing and make something out of it, giving you an opportunity to go to Gardner Webb. So talk to me about Gardner Webb. I mean, obviously they were the one institution that took the chance on you, but what makes them so special for you?
Really, I was just blessed to have the opportunity. Carol McCray, when I first committed in 2018, was the head coach. He just one day walked in my school and said he liked what he saw about me. And being my only offer on the table, it was a no-brainer to take it. Dennis Thomas was my defensive line coach at the time. He said he liked me. He said he was going to develop me, which he did, and we just ran from there.
So let's kind of talk about you and your own I don't know, development over the years. I mean, when you first come in as a freshman versus now, uh talk me through a little bit of the things that have changed.
Um, First coming in at Gardner Webb, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was just thrown into a fire pit. The starting defensive tackle we had there had got hurt during that summer. Then another one had got hurt right before fall camp. So being a freshman, I had no choice but to start. So from that time on, I gained some experience. So going into sophomore year, rather than being like a red shirt or whatever, I really just had the opportunity to have more experience than, you feel me, a lot of other D linemen. So blossom sophomore year, blossom junior year, then COVID hit. Had that little 4 game spring. That was when I was like really, as you would say, like in your prime during college. And then this past year, well, it was the fall 2021. Then we played a full season, had a great year then. And then last year, this past season, the story written itself, and here we are.
Yeah, I know you ended up being an all-conference athlete this season. You definitely ended it on a decent note, but let's talk a little bit about your experience along that defensive line. So, I mean, like you said, I mean, as a freshman, you were thrown into the fire, so to speak. But talk to me about how you're utilized on that defensive line, where you're lined up, and what do you feel separates you, from all those other prospects out there?
Really, one big thing that separates me is I would say my strength and my agility, athleticism. Because freshman year, I played nose guard because that's what the dude he got hurt, so I had to fill in for him. But then I was moved to three tech, and that's just where I was utilized most. I mean, from what my coaches tell me, very strong guy, a lot of pop. Um, Run, I would say mainly a run stopper, but as my years went on, I developed a pass rush. So I just feel like I'm one of them guys that just balanced in all areas.
Yeah, I know the one game that I saw of you, you're really doing a great job of actually getting in the backfield, pushing that pocket, getting in the face of the quarterback and making him nervous. But I felt like you also had a pretty good motor to you so that you were able to, try and, make some plays down the field. Like, once that ball did get shifted to the next level. So I definitely do feel like that's also a good part of your game, and that being your motor. Um, let's kind of talk a little bit more about your growth, man. When you think about how you've grown, is there any sort of advice you would give your younger self, like when you first came in? Because I mean, like you said, you were thrown into the fire. So I mean, what did that young kid need when he first got out there?
Um, Really, if I look back to my younger self now, I would tell my younger self to listen to what the seniors said about how fast it goes by. Because back in 2018, I would have never thought in 2023 I would have been declared for the draft. So really, like being a freshman and sophomore, I was like more on the childish side. Didn't take it serious. But then once I seen that I had a potential chance, to make it to the next level, that's when I started to take things more serious.
Well, I mean, I think that that's fairly common for young guys when they first get into the fold because, I mean, let's just face it, you're still young, you're still immature, and so you just kind of need to allow time to mature you a little bit. But all right, well, let's talk about some of the people around you there at Gardner Webb. Like I had mentioned, I mean, I know that you guys have had some great talent. Talk about some of those talented players, man. Who impresses you the most there as a teammate?
The one that impresses me the most, I would have to say, is Ty French. Cause speaking of motors, he has like one of the best I ever seen. And being a level grade like under me, he actually motivated me. Me being I was like the senior and he's under me. He motivated me because of all the success I was seeing that he was having and the extra work and extra time he put in. Like he actually made me be like he made me spread that to the other young guys, and that's what really just like built up our program.
Interesting. So do you see yourself as a leader? I mean, have you taken any sort of leadership role when it comes to you and your defense?
I'm most definitely a leader. Being the big defensive lineman, and we really dictates how the defense is ran. I was definitely a leader, but unfortunately, when we vote on the team captains roles and stuff like that, I was just a runner up, so it was no hard feeling.
Well, hey, I mean, it's not always about getting the C on your chest. It's just about getting some respect from your fellow teammates. So,
Yeah.
and obviously, as a guy who has been there for a long time, had a lot of starts under your hat, there for Gardner Webb. I'm sure all that does come with some adulation and people really looking up to you as really the senior most guy. So, um, why don't you go ahead and kind of tell me about some of your best moments there for Gardner Webb? Maybe some of your best games, highlights, or maybe even a play that you can share.
Um, I'm gonna start with the best games. I will say, really, I was the type guy. I wanted to play more. I always wanted to play like on a big stage. So having the opportunity to play these, G5 schools, I wish they would have been Power Five, but having the opportunity to play these G5 schools, I just felt like I had a real chance to showcase my talents. Like you mentioned earlier, Georgia Southern had a real big game to show others who are watching that I am able to compete on that level as well. This past year when we played Coastal Carolina, came up short 4 points, had 2 sacks on Grayson McCall. Those are memories that I'm gonna take with me. We played Liberty, lost to them by 1, who then went on to beat Arkansas. I I I feel like that shows like a lot of grit about a FCS school. And then obviously winning the Big South, coming from when I committed in 2018. The year before that, Gardner Webb went 1-10, and then 2022 we go undefeated in conference, make it to the second round of playoffs. Like those are like some of my memorable moments.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, you come in, maybe not the best program at that particular time, but I mean, you were certainly one of those pillars that helped that team to have that foundation to move yourself forward and to to become a winning program. So, and like you said, I mean, even though you're FCS guy, I mean, you're still able to compete. A lot of great competition at the FCS level, but I mean, when you do get those opportunities up against those FBS opponents, you certainly hold your own. I mean, again, like I said, like the one game that I saw of you, I mean, you were all over the place, wreaking havoc. So you could certainly do that, and hopefully some scouts have already seen that. But hey, let's just take some time. I do want to meet this guy outside of football a little bit. Nate, tell me something that maybe not everybody knows about you, man. Whether it be a hobby or any of your personal interests or anything that you want to share with people.
Um, Dang, what a lot of people don't know. I would say a lot of people already know that I like video games. Like I eventually plan on getting into like streaming or becoming a YouTuber to showcase my skills. But something that everybody really doesn't know about me is that um I grew up really like in poverty, single mother. You know how that story goes. I don't really share that a lot. 'Cause I like to keep my smile. I like to keep a smile on my face. Um, yeah. I mean, I was just typically a normal kid. A lot of people don't know. One thing that I say would be interesting about me playing football, how I stated earlier, that I started in the 8th grade. A lot of my friends be sharing their memories about park ball and stuff like that, recreational play. I never had that, so when they have them type of conversations, I just keep quiet, and that's really it. I feel like I was just like a regular kid growing up.
Dude, we just played in the street, man. Like that's how we did it. So people be yelling car and like, we that's just kind of how we roll with it when we were playing ball. Um, using like the the parking spaces as like first down markers and stuff as we were playing. That's more or less what we did because that's all we had, man. There weren't too many places where we can actually go out and have a yard to play in. So definitely feel you for on that front. So uh obviously from the Georgia area, are you do you happen to be a Braves fan or you just have the thing in the back?
Oh no, I'm a Braves fan all the way.
So you always been a baseball fan or what?
Yeah, I really okay. 9th grade, I played baseball, but my friend got hit in the eye, so then I stopped. But I always like kept up with it. So I got this when we finally won the championship. I think it was in 2021. or early 2022. I can't remember. It was one of them.
Gotcha. So whether it be baseball, football, or whatever, who would you say is your favorite athlete?
My favorite athlete, I would probably say Quentin Williams. I feel like he was just a dog. And like I know a lot of D linemen, they say Aaron Donald and stuff, but I don't feel like that's who I compare to. I feel like I compare more to Quentin Williams. So I like look at him and watch his film and stuff like that.
Well, hey, that's fine. I didn't know where you were going to go with that, so that's the reason why I kind of left it open on that front. So, Nate, I'm not sure of your situation, but I mean, are you are you home? Are you training for a pro day? I mean, what's happening on that front?
Yeah, I'm at home. I'm training in Atlanta with a personal trainer.
Cool. So, what do you want to go out there on your pro day and prove to some people, man? Like, what are you, I guess, pursuing? Are there any sort of numbers or something that you want to prove to people?
I mean, I honestly just want to show scouts that my athleticism matches with the other people who they more so show more attention to. So, I mean, that's really all I have to prove, honestly.
Gotcha. Well, certainly have the opportunity to do that come pro day. So, um, Nate, let's go ahead and wrap things up here. Uh, Hopefully you have already garnered the attention of some NFL scouts, but I want to give you the opportunity just to talk to them right now. Tell them why they've been sleeping on you, why they need to take a chance on you, and bring you into their franchise and make you a part of their team. So go ahead and close us with that.
All I really have to say is when you see a defensive lineman with number one, something is special. Um, don't overlook Gardner Webb. I feel like us winning the championship should have proved that we have some reliable talent. But most definitely, if you see someone like me with a single digit, you need to have eyes on where you're gonna miss out.
All right. Well, Nate, again, great talking to you. Do wish you all the best with what you have going on in your life these days. I know this is a crazy time. I mean, you're trying your best to get to the next level, but do wish you best of luck. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, once again, I have with me Janathian Turner. He's a defensive lineman out of Gardner Webb. Check this guy out.